Xerox and who also has great depth of knowledge on the product for digital publishing. I've brought him in so that he can help answer other questions and also give many more examples of how other people are using this. So I'm really going to turn it over to him, but at any point, if you have questions, feel free to jump in and start asking.
All right. Well, Katie, thank you very much, and thanks again, everybody, for joining today. As Katie mentioned, I'm with the Xerox organization as a partner for digital publishing, and so that's what we're going to talk about today, is digital publishing and Kennedy printing. So to get started, go ahead and talk just a little bit about the background of digital publishing and what the market is at today relative to it, to give you an idea of foundation, sort of why we are looking to enter into this type of market from a Xerox standpoint. That was important to us, and to provide this kind of value to our partners, being organizations like Kennedy Printing. So today, print is really only one way that people are communicating, and the communication, the multi-channel communication, is so complex to deliver a message out there into the marketplace that what we found is print is just one way of doing it. It's one way that we've relied on for many, many years, but with so much changes out there, it's not the only way. And to effectively communicate your message, you can no longer just communicate in print, but you have to be able to do more than just that. So what's driving some of this is the technology that's out there. And a couple interesting statistics. There was over 1 billion smartphones shipped out into the public last year. And we're here in Ohio, and I saw an article in the Columbus Dispatch back a couple of weeks ago that said there's 11.3 million citizens in the state of Ohio, but there's 11.8 million smartphones activated and working in the state of Ohio. So we have more smartphones working than we do people. So it's quite interesting how technology has come to play. Tablets are going along the exact same route. Very shortly, we're going to have 1 billion tablets out in the marketplace being utilized. And that's all different manufacturers. It's the Apple world with the iPads, it's the Android tablets, it's the Kindle. But what's really being challenged right now is, as a consumer of information, the readers, they really want to have information where they want it, how they want it, and in the platform that they want it, both print and on their own devices. So our challenge as we try to communicate out there is, how do we deliver this to them in that platform that they desire? One of the other things that we see, and I do see this in most corporations, higher education institutions are going this route. We're seeing it in the nonprofit world that their subscribers and patrons are asking for as well. A lot of folks are looking to go electronic for their distribution in conjunction with print, and it's really being forced by either mandates or policies inside the organization, or by the customers themselves. The consumers of the information are asking for us to present information to them in multiple platforms. And in fact, if you look at all the statistics here, over 94%, or roughly 94% of organizations, have some kind of mandate or policy that is really driving them towards a combination of print and digital. So we took a look at what's happening out there. We use Infotrends. They're a big analytical group in our industry, so they tell us a lot about what's happening out there. What are the trends? How are people communicating? And what they did a survey back in 2006 of a little over 1,000 organizations talking about their documents. This was really interesting. Back then, 34% of all the documents were in print only, and 15% were only electronic. There was this middle ground where about half of the documents were both printed and published. In that case, back in 2006, we were putting a lot of PDFs up on websites. That's typically how we were doing most of our publications. So 6 years later, they did the same survey. No surprise, the percent of print has gone down. And what we're seeing in the print world is that it's actually changing. There's a lot more color print that's going on. There's on various throughput materials that are happening, so we're really changing the look of print quite often, besides the traditional work that we've always done. But one of the areas that's very surprising is that the electronic document only has decreased by 11 percentage points, and only 4% of all documents are strictly electronic in nature. So really what's grown is this middle section where everybody now says, I want print because I read one way, But we also want e-publishing or electronic documents because I need to be able to access my various devices and technologies that I have. And I want to be able to do that when I want to be able to do it, regardless of where I'm at. So that's really the challenge that we have and that we're looking to bring to you is our ability to provide both print and digital publications of documents to you, all from a single source file to provide to us for either print or e-publication. So this technology, the adoption of all this technology and the change of how people want to consume the information is really what are the opportunity for you to communicate your message and your documents out to your readership in a new way. And the way that we're able to do that is really through digital publishing with Kennedy. So what we'll do is we have this one single unified workflow here that we can take your document, we can go to print with that document, and at the same time we can create electronic publication where now we can really enhance that communication. We can bring it to life by adding rich media, things such as audio, video, slideshows, animations, things called iframing to the document. So we're now fully engaging the reader in electronic documents. But also with that, we can hit multiple platforms. We do a web version for the PC and Mac, a version for the tablets and phones, that's a web browser version. We have a platform for the iPads, one for the iPhones, one for Android tablets, one for Android phones, and another for Kindle. So again, all from the one document, we're able to distribute for you in all these different manners. And again, now we're really engaging the reader how they want it, where they want it, and on the platform they want it. So this just gives you an idea of the workflow that we actually work through here. You provide for us the files, be it PDF files and any additional type of audio or video files, for example, that you'd like for us to connect into the document itself and embed. So we go through the workflow here so we can go to print with the document. Maybe it's a brochure, maybe it's a program, maybe it's a newsletter, an annual report. At the same time, we're going to prepare that document so it's ready for e-communications. Because how we have to set that document up to go to an electronic platform is different than how we set it up to go to print. We have to make sure that through our workflow that we are able to automate those processes, ensure the outstanding quality it is presented in the digital format. At that point in time, we're able to publish, so they can be in a variety of apps, either enterprise apps or public-facing apps. I'll talk about that in a minute. And then once they're out there, because this is electronic, we have the ability to provide analytics back, to you about the readership. What are they looking at? What pages? What issues? What videos are they looking at? I'll show you today a couple of reports that we have available for you to take a look at. So that's what digital publishing and how this would actually work. So what do we create then? We can create the print version. We also then can create what we call the digital edition, which is a web version. And that web version can be accessed through any type of browsers, Internet Explorer, Safari, Chrome, Firefox, or some of the common ones that are out there. What's great about it is that it doesn't require any type of software plugins or Flash in order to be viewed. So you're guaranteed that everyone out there can be able to view the documents just by you being able to distribute without them having to download additional software. Or if they're in the Mac world, they wouldn't be able to see some of the videos, etc., because they're Flash-based. So we're able to take care of all that for you. Then we can, again, create versions for the iOS, which is the iPad and iPhone world, Android for the tablets, the phones, and Kindle Fire as well. We also have the ability then to create for you the app that can contain and hold these documents. And those apps can be out into the Apple App Store, Google Play, or Amazon. Or we can do what we call enterprise apps, which are interfacing apps, where you can really control who can actually get into that document. And then on the back end with digital publishing, again, we have all the analytics. And I'll show you some of the examples of reports you should be able to take a look at and see in slides. So what kind of documents are there out there? They just continue to expand. Every time we bring on new clients, we find more applications that are thriving. So the heritage has always been in the magazine and the publication, the pamphlets, newsletters, annual reports, catalogs, but it's really expanding into corporate environments where we have brochures, training materials for training organizations, procedural documents, but also public-facing communications. So we do see a lot with annual reports. I know also I just did a conference for a major university, and we produced their program for that conference. So they had both the printed version that they distributed as well as an electronic version that the 1,200 participants in the conference were able to pull up on their smartphones and their tablets and on their PCs and Mac as well. So the type of communication and documents that you can do through digital publishing is really endless. The key question is, how do you want to take advantage of mobile devices and what we can do through e-publishing to really extend your communication reach and your brand as well. Now, I did mention that this is different than what has been out there in the past. Typically, a lot of folks look, well, we can just publish this and put it out on our website as a PDF. But that really doesn't play well now in today's global space where folks are really looking to obtain through digital publishing. So the documents that I'm going to show you today, they're all HTML5 based. So it is the latest technology that's out there. It's what the web is going to in this direction. So it is no longer a PDF doc. File sizes are extremely small. We enrich the documents with that video and audio. But also with that, we're able to hit all these platforms without concern about somebody not being able to read it because, again, it is an HTML5 document. So with that, again, one of the things in print is great, and we reprint differently. However, in the digital space, one of the things we can do, again, is we now can track how people are consuming that information, where in the print world, it's very difficult to really track how people are utilizing the information unless somewhere in there there's a QR code that they're scanning in order to come into a website where we know that's how they got in there, is solely from that QR code. Or maybe there was an 800 number for the specific program that was going on that was only in that document. So if they called that, we know that's how they got it. But with digital, we're now able to get so much more in depth in terms of the information that we have available for them. So what I'm going to do now is switch, and I'd like to go ahead and show you some samples of what we do. So give me a second here. All right. So what I have on my screen right now is actually a Xerox publication. But remember, this is more than just newsletters and magazines and programs. It could be any type of document that you're looking to share. So I want to go through what we find in the digital space, and the Partner for Digital Publishing has been doing this for 10+ years. And what we found is for people to engage in the digital space, they really need to make sure that it is easy for the reader to read, and it's very easy to navigate. So that's where we spent a lot of our time in technology, is developing that type of experience for the reader. So a number of ways that we can navigate. So on the left-hand side here, we have a table of contents that we create from the document you would provide to us. I can select any of these and immediately jump to that page inside the document. I can also use the arrows on top in order to go either to the front cover, to the back cover, or I can move page by page by selecting the arrows on top or the arrows to the left and the right of the document. Now I can also take a look at all the pages that are inside that document and simply scan down to the one that I would like to select and begin to consume that information. Now, all these documents I'm showing you today that go to digital publishing are also search engine friendly, so they can be found by your large search engines out there. So, for example, if somebody goes on and Googles Real Business from Xerox, they would be able to find these documents out there in the marketplace today, again, expanding that communication. But also with that, we have the ability to do searches. I can search inside this document itself, or I could also search inside of all the documents inside of the library itself. So each of these libraries or apps can hold over up to 200 documents of any size and length. So again, there's allows a lot of flexibility for the readers to read back information, not just information that has gone forward. So now with that, I'm going to go ahead, and let's say I'd like to go ahead and start reading the document. I just hit my arrows to go right and left in order to read the document, or I can read it by going on top. Now, as you notice, anything that you would see in yellow is actually a link. It could be a link to a page. If I press on number 22 here, I would jump to that page. I can begin reading that information. However, we also can link websites outside of this document. I will show you that as well, how we can do that when I get to the iPad and the iPhone. And we've actually picked those up automatically. So if you have a URL inside your document, we would pick that up and create that link automatically for you. Or if you'd like for us to link different sections, we can do that. You just let us know where you'd like those links to be and what you'd like to link it to, and we can simply go ahead and program that for you. Now in this case on the document, I'm looking this as a 2-page display. Good if I want to look at it as a 1-page display instead of a 2-page document, and then be able to start reading the information in this format if that's how I would like to consume the information. So again, giving the reader a lot of choice. But we also have the ability, as you see some of the other buttons up there, we have the ability to share this information. This is an option. So if you want your readers to share it through email or to create a link through post or social networking, you've got the ability to go ahead and allow them to post that. Also give them the ability to print it. So you can print a page, 2 pages, or the whole document, whatever they'd like. Another option available is we can also give the reader the option to download this onto their device as a PDF file. So now I'm going to go ahead and bounce back to the 2-page view of this document. And one of the things that you notice is we did have a video that has popped up on my screen. Now I'll go ahead and select it. So that's just an example of a video. Now, what we can do with videos, we can either have videos that pop up automatically and start playing, pop up and we have to press the play, which is what this one was. We can give the reader the option to turn off the video or not to turn it off. So it's really the choice that you'd like to make. We can size it to anywhere on the screen or on the document, as well as have it, if we want to, in the background where we have to, press. For example, you see in a lot of documents those triangles for play. You can have that in there where it's now press to play. We can have videos and audios that are added in the document, or they could just simply be links to like YouTube or Vimeo. However you'd like to do it, we have that ability now to do. It greatly enriches the experience. So for example, let's say you're a nonprofit organization and you'd like to have the executive director provide you with a in their newsletter, an announcement of what's been going on in the organization over the last quarter. Besides just having the written information there, how great would it be to have an audio or a video of the executive director really talking about what they did, or some special acknowledgments to some of the individuals in the organization that have contributed in a very special way during that quarter. So it really allows for the document to be fully enriched during this time frame. That's just an example of bringing a video into the document. So this, again, is a digital edition. It's the web version. And you do have the ability to do some branding. So, for example, where we have a business here, we do have the ability, for example, to change that. So we can put the organization's name here, whatever you'd like. We can brand this area, as well as we can brand the URL. And we can even do things such as vanity URLs for you as well. So a lot of ways to brand information. Now what I'm going to do, switch to a different platform. What I'm going to do now is show you my iPad. So I'm using some software right now to reflect my iPad onto my computer so that you can see what we now look like in the iPad version. So this is the same document, so we'll give consistency. And I can go ahead and go through the document and just read the document as I normally would. You notice on the table of contents, things were popping up in yellow. I could press any of these and immediately jump to whatever page I've got that link to. On the cover here, you notice we have a number of areas that are also highlighted. So I'm just going to go ahead and select the lead article here to automate and simplify. And it's by pressing that, I immediately jump right to that section of this document. And I can go ahead and start to consume and to read the information. Now, one of the things I do have the ability to do to make it easier to read, I could do the pinch and zoom, which I find people will do that, but they get very tired of it because they're having to move back and forth in order to effectively read the document. But what we also do on here, you see the button there that says Show Text. I have the ability to select Show Text. And what we do with the document is we then convert it into this article or text view of the document. So it makes it very simple and easy to read, keeping all the audio, video, and the graphics inside here, so that from a reader standpoint, it's a very enjoyable experience. And I can read in both the portrait view, and I can also go in landscape view, and you notice how it changes based on the orientation of the screen itself. Then I'll go back into a view of this document as well. You can then go from article to article just by selecting the arrows up top and read the document in this article by article view if I'd like. I can even change the size of font, so if I'd like it to be a little bit smaller, I can change the size of the font as well. Now I'm going to jump back to the page version, which is the replica view of the document itself. In the digital world, we jump around documents a great deal. Don't just read like we do with print. We read it from the front cover to the back cover. So what we do is we give the reader the option in a number of ways to navigate through the document itself. So what I hit was a button there that said Contents. And what we do is we create this article view or section view of the document so the reader can go ahead and select that and select any article that's here. Or we also give them the ability to take a look at all the pages that are inside the document. And I can go through, select whatever page I would like to read. So I'll go ahead and select one. And in this case, what we have is we have an ad, but it also has a video, again, that's attached to this ad as well, that I can go ahead and select and begin to play. Now, typically what we find in the digital space is that people will look at audios or look at videos and listen to audios for about the first 15, 20 seconds, and they may continue and watch all of it. But typically what they'll do is then they'll bounce to a different section of the document and looking at it, and then they'll bounce back and watch that video again. So that's where all those analytics really do come into play in order to help us with that information. I did mention that we can also jump outside to websites. So on here, what I've done is I've selected one of the websites that is on here from Nearstar, with advertisement, for example, in this document. I now can engage with this website. But what you'll notice is we didn't have any browser here. We pulled the information up in the background in a browser. On my iPad, it opens up in Safari. Now I can fully engage with this website. And when I'm finished engaging with it, I simply close out, and you notice I'm right back in the document itself. And that's very important because we don't want the reader to leave our document, but we want to give them the experience of being able to go to other websites and other links as necessary to further enrich their experience in the world. So now I'm going to take you to yet another platform. What I'm going to do, I'm going to start my iPhone up here. Bear with me for a second. And now what you're looking at is actually my iPhone. And this is the exact same document library that we have been looking at, Real Business from Xerox. I'm going to go ahead and select the same document that we've been looking at, both on the digital edition and the web version. On the phone, it's a little bit different because we have a one-column device now versus a 2- or 3-column device in the tablet world. So what we do is we take each section of the document and we create a different-looking table of contents in a one-column device. Now I can go ahead and select any of those that I want to just by pressing on it. And again, I took that lead article, and now it is defaulted into that text or article view to be able to read effectively on my phone. And I've got the ability to change the fonts on it. However, it's most enjoyable for me to read. But yet we're keeping all the video and all the audio and all the graphics inside of it. So what we typically see when we download information, if I hit that page button, we usually see this replica view of the document itself. And again, I do have the ability to pinch and zoom. I have the ability to go to other websites and do linking just like I showed you on the iPad. But this sometimes is a little bit more challenging to read, moving back and forth, left and right to read it. So I like to do is really have it defaulted to that text view for my phone and be able to read the information accordingly. So that gives us yet another platform just to get an idea of some of the things that we can do on the web version called Digital Edition, the tablet version, you saw the iPad, and then the iPhone version as well. Now, with all this, we take it another level, though. Digital, I mentioned that you have a great deal of analytics coming behind these documents. So let me go ahead and show you what the analytics actually would look like and how much information is really available about how people consume your information. So this is actually a real live example of analytics that are out there for a publication called Forum, Association Forum. And with this, on just this summary page alone, I can tell how many page views occurred, how many visits, how many new visitors, how long did they spend on the document itself, what was our average visitors per day. And if I want to, as I change, you notice the graph would actually change in order to reflect. I can go to any area on the document itself in order to see what days different things happen. For example, on October 6th, they had a large spike in terms of new visitors. Well, that helps us understand that maybe we had a marketing email blast that occurred here the week before. Maybe there was something in the media that brought attention to us that people then to our website and found that they could download these documents as a digital publication. So we're able to understand how our efforts are being received and acted upon out in the marketplace. But this is just a summary page. I can do it for any period of time that I would like to. I can do it for just a one-day period. I can do it for a full year. I even have the ability to compare time frames against each other. So if I want to take a look at this last 90-day period as compared to the 90-day period before that, I can go ahead and do that. And the system will go ahead and drive a second chart for us with the different line graphs of what happened in the different days, and also tell me how am I doing in these key areas, if it's increasing or changing. So again, we can see how people are changing behavior with our documents. But besides that, over on the left-hand side here, we can also provide to you a lot of other reports. We can take a look at the audio and videos that are encapsulated inside your document, and we can find out which ones they're looking at, how often do they look at it, how much time do they spend on it. We can look at all the documents that are inside your libraries or your apps. And we can tell you which ones are being looked at most often, and then we can even drill down to see which pages are being looked at most often. Take a look and see what links people are connected to. So if you have some advertisers in a program, for example, they're very interested to see what pages people are looking at and reading. So if they saw their ad or if there's a link to their ad, they want to see if people are jumping and linking it. We can even tell, what information people are sharing through that social networks or tell that information as well. All that should help design additional changes inside the document or markup for your documents and for your information. We also can find out a lot about the people themselves. We can find out geographically on the summary page. We can tell what countries they came from, but we can get down to the area codes or the cities that they're at consuming this information. We also can take a look at some of the technology that they're using, for example, in order to gather this information. So we can take a look at the search engines that they're using in order to find these documents. But we can get down to the types of mobile devices that they're using to consume this information, and even the operating systems that they're utilizing in order to receive it. And what's great about this is we can provide this information in both a CSV file, if you want to incorporate it into some of your marketing reports, or as a PDF document as well, so that you can just share the actual graph and information that is presented in regards to the type of report that I'm pulling up. So the analytics are incredibly valuable, again, to understand how people are really consuming the information, and they help us understand how to change the design for the content of our documents to further improve our communication. So then with that, I'm going to bounce real quick back then, just to say, okay, so what does this mean to you? What value, what can it do for you, and what can it bring to you? First of all, digital publishing really does extend your reach to a broader audience. If you take a look at the number of devices that are out there, this is search engine friendly documents that are HTML5, they're not PDF documents, you're really going to be able to extend your communication reach significantly for those documents that you want to be facing to the public. It does give you, the reader, a truly dynamic and interactive experience. As a matter of fact, one of the things I didn't show you that you can also do is with the app version, you can even connect those into, for example, your organization's blog and be posting updated information on a blog, for example, and then they would be able to see that as well inside of their app. It does enhance the speed, timeliness, and value of communications because it is up to date. The videos, are up to date. Again, through that use of the RSS feeds, we can keep all the information up to date. We're able to track and analyze communications so you can content and understand how information is being consumed. And if you are doing any type of monetization effort with ads, you have the ability to prove to your providers the efforts and that you've expanded now into this digital space, which may provide some additional revenue for you. It also really enables the BYOD concept, and more organizations are seeing individuals bring devices to their workplace, be it tablets or phones, and we need to be able to communicate to them in that fashion. Well, this gives a way to be able to do that. Keep security in terms of you can access it, be it through a subscription management program that we can offer, or through that enterprise app, which would be an internal-facing app. And all this is really easily integrated, so we can provide a Kennedy printing, both print and your e-delivery, all from a single source here at Kennedy. So that's some of the things that we can provide to you. So what I'd like to do at this point in time is just take a few minutes, and let me turn my phone off there.
I do have a question for you. Can you show one of them in the app format on your iPad, or what that looks like?
Yeah. So what the apps look like out there? That's a great question. Let me do that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is this. You're looking at my iPad again. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the library itself, which had all the different documents, and then I'm going to actually take this totally out and show you what it would look like just looking at my pad directly. So on my iPad, these are various types of documents or apps that are out there. So I get mine obviously from the Apple App Store, and I just simply download this. But all these are fully brandable. So we gather the image that you'd like it to look at when it appears in the App Store or on somebody's tablet or phone, as well as what it would look like in the navigation bar. So we gather all that information from you as we go and create these apps. So I'm going to select one here, which is Purdue Vet Medicine. They're a client of Digital Publishing. And so I opened up their app, and you saw it said Purdue Veterinary Medicine. That is something that they asked us to do, so whenever anybody opens up this app, that's what they're going to see. But the app itself is actually their logo at Purdue Veterinary College. Then from there, again, I can read the information simply by selecting Read. Then I'd be able to download that document and begin to read it. And this, matter of fact, is their sponsors that we can link to their actual websites in order to further enhance the value of what they were sponsoring for us. That's what the app looks like.
I have a question. So, for example, I might need 3 apps because I have 3 different types of target, something like that, a retail side as well as a something. Can you name them differently? Are there any guidelines on that? Does it have to be like a domain name? What is that?
No, so the names, for example, that you see up here, that is what you would like us to name it. So quite often what you have and how you want to organize your app, you may have one that is ABC organization for retail. Up in Canada, we do work in Canada, so it's interesting because they will have an app specific for French and a different app specifically for English. So that's how they do it. But like in the university space versus one app for the whole university, each college really wants their own branding. But each college typically has their own app. And instead that, they may have one app for course materials, a second app they may want just for their newsletters and publications that are out there.
Okay. In addition to that, is there any way for me to charge for the app? Is this only free, so I can have somebody pay to download?
Yeah, so what happens there is you can have the documents in there as what we call e-commerce.
Okay.
And so if anyone has been out in the stores where you download, the app and there's a charge for the app, or what we do, because these apps are really containers of documents, then charge for the download of the document itself. And the Apple App Store, Google Play, and Amazon are the ones that manage that piece of it. But we do have to do some different things to set up the documents to allow it for e-commerce.
Okay.
Yeah, you actually can charge for their documents.
Does anybody have any questions?
Well, actually, this is Teresa. I have some questions.
Okay.
I'm looking at the apps, and you know, we sell and service equipment to the printing industry. So we sell service and parts and service contracts and things like that. And we also have all of our product brochures, and I think, you know, right-sizing them in terms of format for the different devices is one of the things that we're working on now. But I'm looking at the apps and thinking, if we had an app so that our customers who wanted to order parts could download the app and submit their request for either a quote or to just order the parts, that would be a really cool thing, rather than having to call here and do it all verbally and all of that. Is that an appropriate function for that?
Yeah, so to give you an idea how that would actually work, and this is typical opportunity, the apps that we work with digital publishing, they are documents, so we're creating content. However, the content, for example, you're talking about might be a brochure, or it could be, for example, a parts catalog. So what we have inside of it, and I'll go ahead and open up, for example, a Xerox brochure here. This is out, for example, out into the app stores. So maybe I've got a list of a variety of brochures inside this app for my company, and a consumer has downloaded it, and they're reading through the document. They may have audio and video throughout, you know, your brochure talking about what the service is. And we could then have a link inside of here that says, you know, to order, it's here. So then they would press and they would jump to your website. They would input all their information, and then that's the way it is ordered. And when they close back out, they'd be back in this brochure. Or if they're doing a part, you could have the catalog there and same purpose. They could look for what part or what product they would need. They would then go ahead and, you know, select whatever that be, press on the site that links it directly then to your website, where they then can input their order request directly to you. So that's how that would actually work, is through the link.
So it would really be a function of that the app is for the brochures and the product information, and then we basically embed a form into our website, because they click on the link, they go to our website, they can either fill it out online and submit it, or they can print it and then fax it over or scan it over or email or whatever they want to do.
Correct.
Right?
And then when they close back out, they're right back in that document itself.
Okay. All right. That's cool. Okay.
Teresa,
now I get it.
Just thinking about your business, for me, it would be very, as a salesperson, I would think it would be nice if I had my iPad. I was doing a demo to my client. So I'm showing them the product, and they might have questions, and then I want to show them, how do you do stapling? How do you use that functionality? I could just kind of embedded video right in my document. My document. Then your salespeople don't have to be perfect in everything. They don't have to stand there and tell them. You can have them watch the video and kind of go through.
Right, and they're doing that now, but to have it built into a Graphco app is really the thing, rather than going to the vendor website and doing it that way.
It would really control the content that you want to control.
Right. Okay. All right, and then to have it all in the correct formats, because we've worked really hard on the email marketing piece to make sure that everything works in, you know, we've got the right format for eBlast and things like that, but to make sure that the documents are viewable, that's the thing that is really pretty exciting.
Yeah, and you're right, and that's one of the great challenges in the marketplace, is to be able to take that document and to put it in all these platforms. You know, because without things like digital publishing, that we are capable of doing, you literally have to create separate documents for all the different platforms and the different orientations, and then that text or article view on top of that. And typically we just don't have time from a design standpoint or build standpoint to do that.
Right.
And that's where we can automate those processes to do that.
Yeah. Okay. That's great. Yeah, because we don't have that. I mean, we have the design, the basic design capacity in-house, but we're never going to have the in-house capacity to do all that formatting correctly. So
yeah, exactly, and that's very common. And that's why I think.
And I don't want to expend our resources to do that. I'd rather.
That's absolutely right.
Do what you do and do it well.
Right, exactly.
To be a partner that can take it for you and manage it.
Exactly.
Do you have any other questions, or does anybody else have questions?
I'm all done.
Okay.
All right, good.
Anybody else out there would like to ask a question?
Hello, this is Sarah at Kappa.
Hi.
I was wondering, typically, what is a deliverable turnaround? Like if we were to print, say, a 24-page document with you as a brochure, and then you create all these other platforms from that, is there like a time, is it as soon as it's off the press it's ready, or is it like a month, and can you pick and choose, like I only want it to be an e-newsletter or like a brochure online? Is that something you guys can fill in for me?
Yes, we can do that. Want to talk about the turn of time?
Yeah, so to actually do a document, with all the links and adding your video, audios, whatever you want inside of it, typically, depending on the document and the workload here at Kennedy, I would tell you it's about a 3 to 5 day turn total to have it all complete on all the platforms. Now, on the flip side to that, to create the first app, that's what actually takes the longest period of time because we have to submit the app paperwork to the various stores, and Apple takes typically around 10 to 12 days to approve that first app. But then after that, all we're doing is, in essence, publishing into that app. So the first one is going to take 10 to 12 days to get Apple's approval. But then after that, it's just for us to convert all this, have you proof it, make sure it's right, add all the links into it, and then just simply publish.
So that kind of matches up with the print time and the digital side kind of coincide. They're happening simultaneously after the app is initiated.
Okay. Cool.
And how do you get the data from us? Do you give us a survey to complete to make sure that we're getting you all of the information so that at the start of that 3 to 5 days we're all ready to go?
Yeah, so there's some information to create the app that we would provide to you, and basically what that is, it's the images that you want, because each store has a little bit different size of image that they want. So typically what you have is the same image, it's just different sizes that we need. So we provide that to you, the information that we need there. And then from the document itself, if there's a variety of links that you want to incorporate into it, or the videos, because that's just simply a matter of either completing a form here from Kennedy or filling it out on like a Word table or Excel, however you'd like to keep that information that's being created, just to let us know where you'd like the links and what pages to link it to, or what websites, or where you want the videos placed, and we then take it from there.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Anyone else have any questions? All right. Well, at this time, if there's any more questions that do come up, please reach out to me. It's Katie at Kennedy Print. I will follow up with everybody afterwards as well. If you want to go through this, you can sit down through the actual presentation again, and I can answer more questions. And then we can start talking about your own documents, how that pertains to you as well, and go to the next step. So feel free to reach out, and if there's a question I can't answer, Tom will answer it for you as well, and we'll do the things that you need.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you guys all for joining, and we appreciate it, and thank you very much. Your expertise has been very helpful, and We'll talk to everybody soon.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Bye.